Welcome back to the Duel podcast with your host Alicia Solomon and myself Megan Hines, where every week we talk the challenge, and we're back once again to talk the Challenge 40 Battle of the Eras, where this week somebody got a bit too big for their britches, and everybody was like, "You gotta chill," and that unfortunately was Tony time.
It's crash out season, y'all. I think Tony crashed out harder than I did the other day on my parlay. Child, Tony crashed out. But I thoroughly enjoyed not only his position but Averey, obviously, and just how she was just ready to stand on business. You know, Averey, we saw in All Stars 4, gave very much, she's just here vibing. She did mention something in this episode, which I'm going to bring up. Stepmom, chill out. Those aren't even your kids. You just met this man. Like, let's leave the kids out of it. I get it. Much respect. But they already got a mom. I like Averey now because I didn't really like her in her Portland season. But let's relax on the I'm a stepmom and I'm doing this for her too. They're not even your kids. Like you can't
You don't
even
got a
file them
ring.
on your taxes.
She
Come
don't
on
got a ring
now.
to be all saying all that.
Like what we doing? Like let's slow down a little bit. But shout out to Averey though for standing on business and not backing down to Tony. Very much similar to Amanda and Zach. And I'm here for it.
Yes. So we start off the episode. We're done with the air invitational portion of this with part of the cast gone. And people were kind of still confused about the fact that they left the arena before the losers did, which we already know, like the losers, they were still there to cast their karma points. And Tony said in nomination he underestimated himself against Leroy. He also said Leroy wasn't doing that well. I'm like, what are you saying? I'm very confused to start off. Like, I get you underestimating stuff. You shocked yourself. I get it. But you talking a little too crazy to start off. Like, I get you got confidence points back up. But let's keep it moving. Be humble about it. And then Cara said she felt comfortable in the house now, despite obviously Laurel and Bananas being very ugly heads towards her. So she's like in a good spot now that she came back into the house and have people that can support her. And we got more of like the hookups to start off episode 2 with Emily and Brad and Naya and Josh. But I want to touch on Emily and Brad because apparently Emily is or was friends with his ex-wife still too, and she's hooking up with that man in the house.
Emily and Brad give me homosexual. Like they look like they don't really stay nowhere. This sounds so bad. But they give
Well,
me like I know
she
Emily's
lives
safe
in
in
a
the van
van.
and she's very nomadic and she's not very or whatever the term is. She's all over the place. But I don't know. I think it's the beard added onto it. Uh, it just gives like they smell like patchouli oil and they roll around in mud. That's what they give me. Shout out to that white
Okay,
glove though.
I'm sorry. Um, and then obviously we saw remnants of Nia and Josh in the pool together. But Nia this episode, baby got a little roster going. I love that for her, but it's it's looking a little weird.
Okay, you know I love Naya down boots, but come on now. I'm not taking the Josh thing serious. I did find funny though how him and Tori got into it or why they got into it because it really just showed Tori's true colors. But I'm not taking Naya and Josh serious. I mean, I know that they're still continuing this romance, like right now ish. It seems like after the show, this is more like a serious thing rather than her and Kylan, which I feel like they more complement each other. But that's just my biases with Kylan and feeling like he'd be a better fit for Naya. But I'm gonna just leave that right there.
Kylan's not so. He's also a tricky one right there. In the back of my head, that man is couch surfing and still with somebody for Big Brother. On the low, on the low. But we know.
Yeah, Kylan also gives homosexual tease. I don't know what it is about this cast, but everybody, Ryan and Laurel got into it on Twitter, and Ryan was like, "Girl, you couch hopping too." It seems very much like everyone lives where the wind blows them. So
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's get
So
these
we get in.
appearances up.
Yeah, definitely. We get into the daily challenge, and TJ had the teams choose two representatives, man and woman. The era one chose Jodi and Darrell, and era two chose Derek and Aviv. Era three, Averey and Tony, and then era four, Casey and Kylan. And they're playing a game called Gladiator, where they'll race to dragon boats and roll around the island. And once they're back on the land, they would have to eat a plate of Vietnamese delicacies. And then also, once the food is eaten, they would have to place the season shields in order from 1 to 40. And the first team to do so will win the daily. The food that they had in the eating portion was very interesting to say the least. It was very disgusting, first and foremost. They looked like it. The only good thing that looked good was the tofu. But even Nehemiah, who was vegan, because that's the vegan option, it was the tofu and this little milk drink. The tofu, according to him, was very dry and disgusting.
Yeah, you know how I feel about the food portion of this. Don't really care. Don't. I'm not a fan of it. I have really no comment. As for the vegan options, people keep claiming that they vegan, but they really not. Like you, I feel like some people who say they vegan is probably eating in and out in the back of a car type vibes. But I ain't gonna call nobody out. But
No, I'm gonna do
some
it.
of
No,
y'all
I'm gonna
fake
do
vegan
it.
there. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say it. Tori the fake vegan. Literally a couple of seasons ago, they had ribeye steak in a challenge. You ate that meat, but and then obviously afterwards didn't eat anything, but that lady ate something. Bananas too. Y'all claim y'all vegans, but y'all ate that stuff before. Why you acting brand new now? I believe Nehemiah because he is on his health kick and he's been vegan, but the other folk, y'all can't trick me. Y'all using that as an excuse, and I don't like it. You make everybody else who actually are vegans look crazy. But as I digress, everything else it was like a snake rat medley that looked disgusting. The one thing that really threw me off was the um the boiled cow eyes. That was the most disgusting thing on that plate. Everything else, and also the snake thing, that was really weird. But everyone did their best with eating everything. Eras 2 and 3 were really ahead of the group for the most part the whole time, at least on the route. And Era 3 was in first place for a majority of this. Like nobody else was seeing them. They were really communicating really well throughout the route, with Devin being the leader and directing them. Uh, Era 1 was really struggling throughout the route. And that's a testament to the so called Viking that they had on their team.
Who?
The man with the beard, Brad. They're like, oh, Brad looked like a Viking. He got this. He can help. He's gonna be our leader of sorts. And that man led them to land where it wasn't actually where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, Brad. I mean, I don't really don't. I don't see it for Brad. I feel like these last couple of seasons that he's came back, like it just he's just always a tidbit short. And I don't know why they decided to go with Brad. I mean, CT was hilarious though. I feel like the whole like 1, 2, 3 row, 1, 2, 3. It's just like, all right, y'all. Like everybody kept doing it. Michelle and Olivia was in cahoots doing it on their side. You have CT hollering. You got Devin and Tori and that bunch also doing it. Was just like, I get the camaraderie, but do we really need, is that necessary? Everyone screaming that. Yeah, but Brad, please. Like he can't lead his beard to the shower. Like I don't even know why they thought that he would lead them anywhere.
And I felt bad for Jodi because Jodi was in the front for their team and she was struggling. I was like, I don't like that she was the one struggling this because like they were trying to do one way and it wasn't any good communication overall on era one to get that done. And I just knew if they lost, it was gonna be Jodi in the sand no matter what. And I was like, dang, and I hate that for her because she is one of the better women on era one, and I wanted her to succeed, but didn't happen. Era 2 and 4 made the shore right after era 3. Tori finished her milk and ate her tofu. She was cool. Um, and then they went to the puzzle for these shields, and Tori memorized all the seasons the night before on they had that on a flag in the house too, and that helped them get the win. However, before then too, Tony just like annihilated all his food. Like he ate that and they were just done. I was like, dang, Tony time is still here and eating any and everything.
Yeah, I mean they flash back to him eating food, like literally licking the plate, and I don't have a doubt about Tony eating. Like he's not fussy in the situation. Like Tony's gonna eat his food, but yeah, I think also Tori doing the memorization of all of the seasons, like I feel like that's something that is actually smart to do because you already know that it's going to come up in some way or fashion. They're either going to ask the order of the season, which they've asked it at the beginning, and they're probably going to ask the order in which people got eliminated. That's something that's always come up, like either in the beginning of the season or typically towards the end of the season. So I thought it was just a smart move to just have that memorized already, and clearly it helped them this challenge.
Yep. And because Jodi was actually the rep for Era One, she was very concerned that she would go in. And lo and behold, that was the case because Era One was the last thing to be done. And that meant that Jodi and Darrell will go directly into a nation where now we have Derek and Aviv and Kyle and Casey on the bubble and have to deliberate to plead their cases to the winning team's representatives in Averey and Tony to not go into nation. And this is very interesting. Like when you think about it, okay, Averey and Derek are really close friends. They've known each other for so long. You would think, okay, it's pretty straightforward that they would save Derek and Aviv and just put in the new blood in Casey and Kylan. But that doesn't happen because Tony doesn't have anything up there.
Yeah, I can't even make an argument for Tony. However, Tony did look good. Maybe my eyes are deceiving me. Tony
He
kind of looked
did.
good. Kind of look good, but ain't nobody home. Ain't nobody home. Um, I can't even explain why Tony would decide to just like. I get the point of maybe having a favor being held for you later on in the season. Casey's a strong player, Colin's a strong player. I'm sure that they would be on air for a little bit longer than some of the other players. But hitching your wagon to people that you don't know, really off the first episode, and standing on that and saying, like, I think this is the move to do, while Averey is, and Averey doesn't even have that many people. This is the thing. Like, Averey in her All Star season, she was really a lone wolf. Like before she hooked up with Adam, she was probably cool with Derek because that relationship wasn't shown, but it's clear now that they have a prior relationship, like they spent Thanksgiving together, like they know each other, like personally, one on one. They know each other well. I think they lived with each other at one point. So these two are really friends, like they know each other. So I get why she is standing her ground and trying to be like, I'm not gonna put Derek in. But Tony don't know Casey and Callan from nowhere. He doesn't really have any connections with any of these people on Era 4 like that. So the fact that you're really trying to hold down a favor for what? Like, I really can't even comprehend where he was going with it. And he even said, like, he pulled his ace and he thought that she was going to back down and she didn't. And once she didn't, it was like, all right, so if you're ready to go home, then stand on that, Tony, because I'm ready to fight for my friend and go home too. Like, that, it is what it is. And I respect Averey for what she did. Like, I mean, not only is it a smart move and just like a stand up move, but it was the right thing to do, because why would you fold off of what Tony's talking about? Because Tony not even talking about anything. That's the thing. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Tony is standing on absolutely nothing. Like, it's real blank up here. So like I don't even know where to begin with Tony and him making this move. Like, it was really, I and they also like have said Tony wanted to go home, like he didn't really want to be there. I don't know how true that is. Like, this is the first episode. If that was the case, you should have just blew the elimination to Leroy and let Leroy stay. Like, if you wanted to go home so soon. So I don't really know how true that is, but that's being thrown out there that he really didn't want to be there, and I think he could have stayed long because of his job or whatever. It's like, bro, that is straight foolishness to me. But okay, Tony, go off.
Yeah, because I, in his Instagram post he posted today, he was basically saying, "Oh, you live so long to be a villain." And he tried to debunk everything that everyone was saying, basically. And I'm like, if you didn't want to go home, why did you just give up in the elimination? And I feel like he didn't want to go home, but that was just what the conversation was around the house after his conversation with Averey, and they just took that like, oh, he don't really want to be here. And because like last season, he left on his own free will because something happened back home. I don't know exactly what happened, but this is 2 seasons in a row at this point that you've come back after a long hiatus and you just leave at random. If you
I
didn't
think
want to come on the show, you should have just left, stay home.
I think All Stars. He said that something was going on with his brother, and so whatever that means, like he had a family issue that he needed to leave and go home to tend to. Okay, cool, like no problem. But this seems just like super random. Like, you've got another call back, you're on a main show. Like, I feel like you would try to take the opportunity to do what it is that you need to do in the season, and kind of make yourself come back with a name and all the other stuff. Like, stand on that Tony time that you always talking about. But yeah, this whole scenario of him really doubling down and not moving and budging for Casey, out of all people, and Kylan.
Exactly.
Like, and also Emily, girl, trying to come for Casey. I'm telling you, is giving homosexual man. You need a place to live. Like, I was. That's really where I really got Emily. She need a little shower in a bed instead of that cot in the van. Because why are you talking about Casey and Nani too? Like, oh, Nani, if you weren't with Casey, like, girl, bye.
She just wanted to be in the mix. She for everybody. I appreciate that energy, but dang, that lady is fully taken. They trying to have a wedding soon. Leave her alone. But also, really quick before we move on, after last week, because Tony pitched Jordan to go in, he came into the season not knowing and not having relationships with like a lot of people anyways too. So he was kind of a lone wolf on his own team because everybody else was connected. Him and Avery were the odd ones out. So you can't be moving like this and then everybody just be like, oh, you look stupid. You're dumb. you're a douche. You're being misogynist. Your ego is just doing being crazy right now. Like we don't know who this Tony is because that's the Tony that we are used to. And that threw me off. That threw off everybody in the house. But also, really quick in nominations, when they're pleading their cases, and Tony like asks Darrell and Jodi like, "Oh, who y'all want to go against?" Darrell's like, "Oh, I would rather go against Derek and Aviv." And the look on Aviv's face, she's like, "I won a season with you years ago. I was the one that got you to win because I did that puzzle." Granted, even though they won that season, they haven't really seen each other, talked to each other since then. He saw it as a better chance to win against Derek and Aviv. But I'm like, this lady just got back. Y'all are cool. I don't understand this.
I mean, that's just how the game goes. Like, sorry to that lady. It's been 18 years. I get it. Like, y'all had a win, but what do you want him to do? Like, I wasn't really mad at him saying that because Casey and Kylan are way stronger than Derek and Aviv. No shade to Derek because I feel like after his All-Star performance, he really, has stepped up and he can actually be a threat. Like, he's an underdog in that situation. Like, I feel like Derek can kind of be looked over. But also, Derek and Aviv, Casey and Kylan, I would prefer to go with Casey and Kylan because Kylan also did knock Darrell out the last season that they did play together. So, sorry.
No, I get it. Like in a moment, I was like, "Oh, okay, I get the reason why he did it." It was just funny to see Aviv's like reaction to it, and I got her point. I was like, "I helped you out." Like we literally had a conversation, like, "Oh, we're cool, we're good." Like I have an ally, and then he turned around and said that in the nominations, and I was like, that was a little weird, but I got where Darrell overall. I did get where Darrell was coming from. Overall, it's just looking at a view side. That's where I was like, I get you, I understand it. Um, and even after the deliberation, it was a stalemate. They still didn't know what they were gonna do, and it either way, if it was gonna be a team nation, losing both Averey and Tony would not be ideal for the blue team.
No. Like, they are, like, their team is keep dwindling down after Leroy has left, and, like, their team is not holding well together. Let's just say that. And I
Yeah,
feel like Tony and Averey are both underrated on their team, to be honest.
yeah. And they get to CT's pro tip. I guess we're running with this for every episode. We're getting one or two CT pro tips every episode. This one is it's okay to have fun in the challenge house. And this led into the scene where they were having the toggle party. As we all know, we always seen them have themed parties in the house. And in this one was the toggle party, where Cara didn't get the memo, but she was in her all black outfit looking like something out the 80s. And I'm like, man, you couldn't have just grabbed like a bed sheet or something. But I was like, I'll let you be you because that was actually funny.
Yeah, I love the moment of it feeling like the old challenge and just them having a silly moment, having a theme party, all of the people who are there. It just made it feel very nostalgic watching it. And yeah, I'm not sure why card and just grab sheet. Like, you just wanted to just like Ozzy Osbourne, which is cool, but I feel like you threw off the whole vibe, which is, like why people be like, girl, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, Car just be doing shit. And it's just like, girl, you didn't need to do this. Like, you really could have just got a bed sheet and just played along with everyone else, even if you wanted to wear black lipstick. But the whole wig, the outfit, like, I don't know if Porgy left his clothes behind, but you really didn't have to wear that.
He probably did it. Because she said she
I mean,
brought that
they look like they
costume.
share clothes, but like, it's, well, come on now, play along. Like, is it that hard?
No, but Cara always has to be doing something different. And while they were like chilling out, everybody was talking about how Tony's being stupid, and I was even agreeing with Bananas when he was talking to Tony. He's like, your ego is a little crazy, like, and he was giving him actual good advice. Tony was not hearing it. Like, yeah, between, and I think in that moment, someone posted a photo of Tony laying down. That was for you. I gotta find a photo and I'll send it to you. But that moment when him and Bananas was talking, that was for you.
Nah, I know exactly what you're talking about, which is why I said Tony looked good. Like I was like lifting up my eyelashes trying to see, like, is my eyes deceiving me? But yeah, Tony looked good here, but it's what's in here that
Nothing's up there.
counts.
Yeah, nothing's up there. And Naya and Kylan were talking about Averey and how she was like being the more level-headed person in the conversation. And then we cut to Naya and Kylan hooking up in the same room that Josh was sleeping in. And then people were laughing and stuff about it feet away in the other room. And I'm like, of all people who were laughing of it was Tori. And I'm like, that lady's not your friend. And I'm glad that Josh figured it out because she be going with the flow of other people and it's like, why are you doing that?
We don't even need to dissect Tori and her weirdness, but I will say Josh coming down and trying to defend himself, and then it becoming a whole thing, and then she crying white woman tears behind it. It was just like, what is this? Like, I just thought it was funny that Naya ended up in the situation. He was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, she can do whatever she wants to do. But Tori, why are you making jokes about it? And it's just like, this is the same girl who, for her own amusement, decided to get you and your other friend in an argument, which basically got you kicked out of a season. This is the same girl in another season that voted for you when she didn't really have to, and you're her friend, but she did it anyway. Like, it's not your friend. So the fact that Josh and her are arguing to begin with, it's just annoying because it's part of this vacation alliance that keeps making their appearance here, and it's just like, I'm tired of it. Like, I don't care about you, and I don't care about his tears, and I don't care about hers. Like, wrap this up.
Yeah, because I was like, he was like, I've been a better friend than you than me. And when he said that, I was like, okay, it's more to this than just her yapping to the rest of the people in the house about the joke. And I'm like, y'all need to leave and get this together because I don't want to see this on my television screen. And I do like that he was respectful about Nia. Like, yo, they just met. It's fresh and new. I'm good. I'm cool about whatever's happening. Like, and I think they made a best man win type of thing. It's fine. It's cool. He didn't have no issue with what was going on feet away from him. And I was like, I'm cool on that. Y'all got it. But that moment was just like, y'all need to stop. Let's stop. And after that, the next day, Avery had her bags packed and ready, while Tony was just chilling, thinking like, "Oh, shit's sweet. I'm good. I'm not leaving." And that's why I was like, "Okay, that man. I know he said like people are like, oh, like he wanted to leave. Didn't have his bags packed. He was good. He was chilling. He didn't. He was just like in his own head about it. And like, it is what it is. He was like not locked in, but he was just chilling.
He didn't think that she would go through with it. That was the whole point, and I don't know why. So again, I'm glad when they went down there, and TJ was like, "Okay, like what's the decision?" And she was just like, "Tony," and he was like, like like he didn't really know what to do. So once he started doing that, and she was just like, "Well, I'm not budging. He's not budging." They're like, "Well, we're just gonna do stalemate." TJ's like, "All right, bet." You know what that means? Both y'all gonna come down here. And TJ was kind of like, why y'all doing this? Like, Averey, I understand your reason. Like, once Averey explained herself, he looked at Tony, was like, so Tony, what's up? Like, what's your reasoning? And Tony really couldn't give a good, solid reason. He's just literally saying absolutely nothing, like rubbish. And TJ's like, all right, whatever, cool. So y'all are going to be playing against Darrell and Jodi. Good luck. And Derek and Aviv, to their credit, Derek wanted to go down there and throw himself in there for Averey just because she was doing the stand-up thing in that moment and putting herself in the line of fire for Derek. But I do think that it's like smart not to do that super early, because although I feel like Derek and Aviv could have held their own in this challenge against Jodi and Darrell, it's kind of like a catch-22. Like, so I mean, it could have really went. It could have went either way. And so I'm glad Derek didn't put himself in that fire for Averey so early. Like, if it needs to be later on in the season, then I can see him doing something like that. But as for now, like, let the chips fall where they may. It's an individual elimination, which I also love. It's like y'all are getting thrown down here, but y'all are not as a team. Because I was like really worried that Averey would go home off of just Tony and his hard headedness. So once I was like, all right, she can at least hold her own, then my rooting interest went through the roof. Now I'm rooting for Darrell and I'm rooting for Averey. However, I do love Jodi, and I do think that Jodi got the short end of the stick. I feel like she is, like you mentioned earlier, one of the strongest players that we've ever seen in the challenge. Like, she always comes, she always wins daily. She's always at the front of the line. She's clocked in. Like, she's really one of the strongest women challenger that we have seen. It just so happened that she went against someone who had the whole crowd rooting for her, and someone who's not going to give up in how she plays. So I thought it was interesting, but we could start with Darrell and Tony, because like I said, the lights are on and it looks good. The lights look so good. It looks like Rockefeller Center in December. It's bright, it's shiny. Oh my God, it's so pretty. It looks amazing. But there is no one at home. And the man got
Not at
kids.
all.
Pray for the kids, y'all. Pray for the kids.
And Darrell had the whole house basically helping him. He was like, "Hey, I don't know, I can't really do this by myself, and I know everybody in the house is pissed off at Tony, so they're gonna be rooting for me and helping me." And I was like, "I understand. Everybody is saying, hey, F Tony, we gonna help Darrell," and that was a landslide elimination, because even though they both were very confused about the tiles and even the puzzle, the question itself, everybody figured it out and helped out the road the whole time. Well, meanwhile, Devin and Jordan were trying to help Tony. Didn't really go that well. And in the process of Darrell's win, that man blew his back out.
Which old man to old man CT noticed immediately and was like, Darrell, you need to up from your knees rather than just bending down and picking it. Like, you're not a young man, Darrell. This is not 20 years ago that you can just do whatever you want to do and you can just get up and go. So hopefully Darrell will be okay for the rest of the season. Like, it's giving he's already sort of kind of out for the count. But, you know, let's see how, a couple of days, maybe a massage, a beef with Laurel. Like, I want to see what that beef is, because
Ciao.
Laurel, mind your business. Mind your tax paying business, hun.
Last person we talking about people helping her, because allegedly on the streets she cheated with somebody else that's older. I'm not gonna get into it, but watch your mouth. That's not very demure and not very mindful.
I don't like that word, Megan. I hate that word, actually. I hate that word.
Anyways, on the other hand, Jodi and Averey, that was a neck and neck elimination for the most part. Like, they both at one point um got to the middle and they both were like, we don't have any more tiles. So they both had to reset. And even in the reset, um Avery was still a bit ahead of Jodi, and it was going to be a foot race to see who would finish. And even though with some help from the crowd, Avery was managed to get the win. But even without the help, because they were still neck and neck, it was going to be either one. Even though Jodi was a little bit behind, anyone could have got that. And I was very worried because like I wanted to see Jodi stay, and I didn't also want to see Avery leave off of this because I knew she had more to tank to give. But that one, I was like, I I don't want any of y'all to leave. But it was just a bad night for Jodi, who kept going, and I applaud her for that.
Yeah, like I just said, Jodi is one of the best to have come back. I do wish that we would have had an opportunity for her to stay longer and just play a little bit longer of a game. She's one of the stronger women on Era One, so that is going to be another, fall in how they move and just their team in general. But um, I'm glad that Jodi has answered the call, has come back. I would like to see her again. Like, I feel like every time she's come back, she's done, exceptionally well. And Jodi used to be fun. Like, I also thought this was funny how Jodi used to date Adam too back in the day, and now Avery's dating Adam, and they're going head to head. Like, it's giving very much intertwined tease. It's giving messy. It's giving. You used to be with my man, but now I'm with your man. Like, let's see. But I thought they both did pretty well, and I wish we got more Jodi. Like, but shout out to Avery though. I'm glad she did win because this was a statement win for her, and just how she stood on her business. She came back, she won. Like, Avery's been holding her own, and she does not have Johnny Riley holding her back. She, doesn't have different factors that kind of make Avery not likable. Like, mm.
Yeah. It's a good difference to how she was last season. Granted, she had a good showing last season, but that's how she was when she initially came back last season. It was a little, I don't know what to do. But this season around, she's a different version of herself, and I'm really enjoying it. So, with her not having as many people in the house with her, um, now seeing like people root for her in the house, I'm like, I love this for her. She's in a good element. Um, Jodi said she was sad to leave. Um, and Tony told TJ, "Wasn't my time, Tej." And I wrote my notes. Bye, Tony. You did this to yourself. Good luck and Godspeed. And after that, TJ told Averey and Darrell that y'all gonna have to choose targets from each era, men and women, to be on the block next week, basically. So this is what they're doing now for the format with the targets of the week, where if the targets lose, they go into elimination. If they win or are in the mix or so, they will be on the bubble within the chamber. And so Avery chose the guys from each era, and Darrell chose the women. Avery chose Derek, Bananas, Jordan, and Horacio, whereas Darrell chose Anitha, Laurel, Naya, and Jenny. A lot of really big heavy hitters, and when they're going back and forth, um, both of them picking Bananas and Laurel was funny to me because both of them need to be targets because those two gotta go.
Yeah, I first of all, I thought the selections were a little bit funny that Darrell chose Anissa, like, and Anissa being like, "Oh, Darrell, not you too, girl. You are the worst player on your team. What do you expect? Like, what do you want the man to do? Like, there is no better option but you, babe. Tina may be there, but Tina's actually shown herself a little bit better this season so far. So it's like, it's you, sweetie. Uh, the Naya pick, I kind of would have went with John A. But that's just me and my personal bias, and he's played with John A more recently, so probably there's something there. Um, Laurel and Bananas, like, yes, we need you guys targeted so that we can get you out. I love the fact that they are able to target people, and it's kind of like you really have to be careful who you send onto elimination, because it doesn't matter who comes back, they have the power in their hands. Not to mention the karma vote that also the other players have when they leave. So there's so much going on into how this all plays out towards the end of the season. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this Target thing plays out. But Lauren Banana is definitely like y'all top two and not two in this situation. And who are they picking era for? I think
It was
Jenny,
Horacio,
because
Horacio
yeah,
and Jenny.
yeah, Horacio, of course. Sorry, babe, but you gonna have to go in. Uh, Jenny, like Darrell said, he knows you the least, so it makes sense. But yeah,
Jordan
I
volunteered.
think that
Jordan
doesn't move
volunteered,
me.
and it was like, I
Doesn't
know.
move
I
me.
was like, why
Doesn't
would you
move me.
volunteer?
Doesn't move me. That I just can't with that era. Like something about that era is just like, oh, whatever. Like Naya, run away.
I want to win a Ray because that's the era I got into the challenge with, and I hate part
I
of
feel
that
sorry for
group.
you. I feel sorry for you.
Like I literally came in when Devin debuted on Rivals 3, and I hate that man
Wow.
now.
Wow. Yeah, I used to like Devin and Cheyenne. A shout out to Cheyenne on who's now on Teen Mom and Corey's baby mother. Like I yeah, I've been watching since era one season. So it's kind of like me going through. I kind of fell off some part of era three. And then I kind of picked back up and then moved from era three to era four. But yeah, something about era three that is just like it hits home to me because like I watched like, all of the real world seasons and all of that, but something about it is just like I don't I don't like majority of y'all. So it's kind of hard for me to root for any of y'all. And the same with era four. Like I don't really care for era four either.
I think for me with Era 3, I have too many tryhards and people that are honestly, I'm so sorry, Corey, idiots. Like the only good that are on that season in Era 3, unfortunately, is Jordan and Janae, and I'm throwing Naya in there. Everybody else, and then I don't really, I enjoy Avery now, but I don't really care for her. But the other ones, they're just tryhards, and I hate it because I knew Tori was a tryhard when she was on her own season of either one. So we'll leave it at that. So that's we also next week we do get trivia, so that will be interesting to see in the preview. I guess Derek inconsequently had CT for CT to drop and mess up something in his back or whatever. I hope that man is okay when we see it and hope he still stays. But I was like, damn, not CT.
Yeah, I hope not. But it's giving old man vibe. So we gonna hope.
Okay.
No, I'm being so serious. I'm not even trying to be funny. Like the way CT looks this season, the way the jacket is medium on, you know what I'm saying? The hair is kind of crazy. He looked like he rolled out of that trader's bed and just was like, all right, we're here now. Let's do this. 40. And it's like, yeah, CT. I love you, damn boots, but come on now. The whole back thing, and then it's like you said it to Darrell because you kind of jinxed when you talked about Darrell's back, you kind of jinxed your own self now. Now look at your back. You know what I'm saying? Like back to back, it's giving old man vibes, but that's just
Yeah.
my eyes.
No, I get you. And I understand. Because I was about to say, like, he literally just said to Darrell, I'm like, why would you set yourself up like that? Why would you do that? But we'll see how next week goes. But we're going to get into some of the tweets from the episode because there were some very funny tweets. The first one, I actually want to bring up because you mentioned this man looked great. Why is Tony protecting two people he hardly knows? At least he is causing chaos and looking hot while doing it. That's for you.
Where is the lie? Where's the lie? Like, I'm just saying, like, he looks great.
Yeah, I know no complaints. I agree, but nothing like we've been saying is there. The worms are in the brain. The next tweet, Aviv acting like they have some humongous bond when they've only done one season. We haven't seen you since the 2000s. Come on now. You're like, I get her plight, but ma'am, y'all not friends. Y'all just want a season together. That's it.
That's what I said. I mean, I get it, girl, but you can't just hold on to that. Like you gotta do something else.
Yeah. Um, Era One losing Jodi instead of someone like Anissa will only hurt them in the long run. Mic drop.
What else is there to say?
Nothing. We just find different, new, and innovative ways to say that Anissa is the weakest link on Era One. That's just it. The next tweet. Um. Okay, it's a two-parter because someone's like, "Oh, who do you ship Nia with more, Josh or Kylan?" And then former Big Brother player, Kylan's castmate and friend in the cookout, Xavier Prater, said, "Hold up, Josh and Kylan are in a love triangle." And I had to laugh. So I'm like, why would you say this, Bob, man? Why would you say this? But I get what you're saying. Because it feels like it is a love triangle, but everybody's not together. Together. It's just new and fun.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
The silence is loud. Okay. The next week, Tony is Curly, Larry, and Mo all in one. Why am I agreeing with Jordan? That's my thought. Because someone's like, nah, Jordan ate that. And I'm like, why am I agreeing with him right now? Because it's a dark day when I have to agree with both Bananas and Jordan about something.
Yeah, Tony's acting gave very much Tubi, and although I love a good Tubi movie, so maybe it's me. I'm the problem. Tony, hold it down. Love you.
And then the last tweet, hot take, I would have made 40 worse. Can you guess who tweeted that tweet?
Yeah, I saw the tweet from the gingerbread man. You probably
Yes.
would have, sir. I'm glad. I'm glad. Although, yes, he should be on the show because he is a part of this, but he probably would have made it worse. So glad you're at home, babes.
After you've well retired, good job. The wrong time to retire,
The
to
right
be
time to
honest.
retire. The right
Hey,
time.
I don't know. Yeah, that's true. Because if he was on, Derek probably wouldn't be on. Now that I think about it.
Am I missing something?
And I
I'm
no,
not
you're
gonna
not.
hold on for nobody.
No,
Like,
no, you're not. Cause like I would rather in this day and age because I don't like seeing that man on my TV every couple months. Seeing Derek is a breath of fresh air, so I would take Derek over rest right now of entertainment factor and just seeing someone new from that era.
I would agree. I have no qualms with Derek, but it is what it is.
Yep. Another oddest tweet from this week's episode.
Yes, let's wrap this up and watch some Tubi or Tony. Uh, thank you guys so much for listening. If you would like to, if you would like to,
Why would you say that? Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know. I don't know. Tony, I love you.
Anyways,
Anyway,
get on.
um, thank you guys for listening. If you would like to follow us on Twitter, you can at Duel Lines Podcast. You can follow us individually. You can follow Megan at Megs and Hines. You can follow myself at Ace_S5. If you're listening to this, you can watch us on YouTube at Duel Lines Podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you very much to get those numbers up. And yeah, we'll be back next week to discuss more of the challenge, season 40. See y'all. Peace out.
Bye. Happy Labor Day weekend.
Is that a real